Hi everyone, welcome back. Got this massive project today, non-runner. No idea what's wrong with it. Gonna have to have a look. So yeah, this is it. I'll get the stand out. I'll probably just strip it down. I don't know, as best as I can. I mean, ultimately it's a carb, a piston, and a spark plug. So let's see what we can do. I've got some fresh fuel down there, and I'll put some two-stroke in. I've got some two-stroke. I don't know. I'll strip it down a little bit and try and clean the carb maybe, and we'll see where we go from there. I'll put this one on the stand. I'll film this one most of the way through, and I'll forward some and you can forward as much as you need to. But let's see if we can get this little project started for the kids. So I'll set you up here just like this while I kind of mess around with it and see what's going on, really. If the fuel was run through, then the carb should be fairly clean. I'm going to find the little separate tank I've got, the auxiliary tank, hook it up and see if we can get anything out. So there's your tank set up. Let's just throw some fuel in. Let's just see what happens at the moment with the carb. Does it leak? Does it hold the fuel? Let's just kind of see. I don't know what chokes on, what chokes off. What's that button? I think so we know we've done the right thing. I'm going to try and get this carb off. I have no idea. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You see it's here. See that you've got screws in there. You just can't get to them. So maybe it's the sign. There's a big hole on the bottom. Maybe it's the sign to go that way. And then I'm going to test the switch system, make sure it's got some spark. Okay guys, so I've been messing around with, right, so I ran the wires back up to here, and then you had this, I thought it was a little horn or something, but obviously look, it's some sort of cut-out switch, but it's got two on there, it's got two safeties. So undoing them, and I actually wired them together while continuing looking for spark, and there was none. I went back over the rest of the bike as well, again wiring wise. I was just about to cut off the switch and wire it together, and then I think I felt spark. I think I felt spark through the spark plug when I was holding it. So I'm going to hook up a tank again. Ideally, I am still going to crack off the bottom of this carb actually, and just clean it out and make sure it's kind of okay. But and then I need to get some two-stroke in there. I might put a tiny bit down the piston, just a tiny drop, just because we don't know how long it's been like this. And then yeah, in fact let's start looking at that. So this should only be in fairly hand tight at this stage. Alright, let's set you back a bit. There you go. I hope I've got some two-stroke left. If you put the tiniest drop in, it just helps the piston, especially if like the fuel in there now doesn't have a mix, because I didn't mix it yet. I just wanted to see if it fired up or anything. And let's look at this. Right, you still on camera? Yep. In fact, let's set you higher up so that you can roughly see what's going on here. Not that I know exactly what's going on. What are these cable ties even doing? It must be designed to clean the carb like this, because it's such a pain to get off. Right, you're not needed, just overflow. That looks fine actually. Oh, it's a little bit dirty in here. Float seems okay at this stage. Alright, I'm not going to mess too much with it, it's clean enough. Always torque down anything with a gasket, left and right or in triangles, so that it seats properly all the way around. So I'm sure I felt some spark in my hand. Should I look the tank back on and put the two-stroke in it? I'll tip a little bit down the cylinder, tiny little bit like I said, and should I just kind of go for it? Don't know. Alright.
Are you alright?
Number 13, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright, 1 second. This is being.
Finish it, yeah?
Let's do that.
Good.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Okay.
Three, 4, 5 drops. 5 drops of two-stroke. What do you do like this? It didn't seem this hard to get off. Why are you seeing so weird? You never wondered, did you? Okay, so it's a bit fidgety. Give me a minute, I'm just going to secure this tank on. So top tip guys, put the tank on not back to front and it'll fit. That's my filmed tip of the day, considering I can't get away from it. so bad ever. Right. What's this? I need like a jug or something, because the second you put the fuel or the oil in, it goes down the pipe. So we almost need to mix it. Bulk of fuel. Let's tip some two-stroke in there. And also, if it's quite smoky when you start up, then, well, this is going to be anyway because I put two-stroke in the cylinder, but smoky is good on a two-stroke. There's different colour smokes, there's different kinds of smoke, but if it's not running overly smoky, then I'd be questioning whether there's enough oil in there. I believe red is ignition. I'm hoping fuel's flowing down there. I think I felt spark. So let's see. We'll kick it over a few times. I'd love it to start up. Ooh. Let's try this switch sideways. I have no idea. What about these things? Is this thing choke or not? It's actually hard work pulling that. Let's give it a few more. We had something there. What I can't work out is this flappy thing here. Look how loose it is. Is that a choke? Let me pop that air filter off and see. So the tap's back on and it's not spilling or anything, but I want to know what setting is on and what's off. So I'm going to undo the float bowl screw and we'll see if we can end the flow using the switch. So we've got good flow there. Okay, so that slowed it down. So upright is flow off. Let's see if sideways brings it all back. Yeah, no. Upright. Sideways again. Upright again. Diagonally. Like that. It's such a weird system. I think that's off, and then I think that's on. Off. Yeah, I think sideways is off, upright is on. I think. So, right, where are you coming from? Overflow. There's no air filter on. Let's see if we can get it doing something. Idling, I don't know. The carb is terrible. Alright, let me pop the carb off again, see if I can sort out. So I'm working on the float system. I just cleaned the valve. It's not the same valve. I have spares, so I don't have spares. So I'm just trying to work this out at the moment. It's all very tight and it's hard to get into. But I think I've cleaned it enough for it to be kind of workable if I can get it all back in. So I think I've cleaned and fixed the float problem, but think is the word, so I genuinely don't know. All we can do is plug back in, wait a minute and see if there's any overflow, see what happens. When I blow through the pipe now, it's almost like the restriction's already on, so that's a bit weird, but it's not. Yes. Signs of overflow issues again. Just keep your eye out on the carb here. Normally if there's overflow issues, you'd see some coming through here, the overflow pipe. You'd see some coming out of here, and normally up the gaskets up here. I mean, it's all a bit wet from where we've been working on it, but we're looking for new overflow. These bloody cable ties everywhere. Oh, I mean, it seems kind of okay then. At the moment, it's not madly overflowing. Is there flow in the bowl? That's the main thing. So to remind myself, up is choke on. Up is choke on. Let me throw this air filter back on and we'll just see what we can get going. At the moment the switch is on, red is on, and it's all kind of done and hooked up. I'll put the clip back around there and we'll see if we can get anything going. Okay, so at this stage I think there's fuel in the carb. The air box is on properly with both screws. It only had one originally, and there appears to be some spark. So there's no reason why this wouldn't kick up something. We'll give it a few spins and see what happens. The choke is on. Let's try a choke off. Smells nice and two-strokey. I mean, that wasn't bad. And just the throttle cable had come out, so all the idle's a bit weird. It didn't want to throttle up, but it's been a long time. It will need to idle for a while. Let me, oh, and we've got fuel spill again. It's annoying, but at least it did something. So what was happening was the choke itself was slipping and moving. So I stiffened it up a bit. It sounds much better now with the choke completely off. Yeah, completely off. So I guess we've got to do a couple of things, okay? Possibly need to put some sort of inline fuel stop. Although no, hang on a minute, we can stop the fuel using the carb stop. I'll throw the air filter back on and the bodywork. I mean, maybe it just needed settling down. It's not dripping anymore. Sounds amazing though, doesn't it, for a tiny little bike? Love two strokes. So I'll top up the fuel. I'm maybe just going to piece it all back together now. And if it continues dripping like this, I'll order them an inline fuel stop. And they can just turn the fuel off when they're not using it. Front brake's a bit weak, I'll tighten that up. And, oh yes, and remember the steering head is completely here, look. Look at that. It's, yeah, it's the risers, look. I will nip them up big time. What a cool little project. So yeah, I'm going to throw the filter back on, nip up the head, put the bodywork back on, and see if it will carry my fat arse. So steering's done, steering's rock solid. I better do something with this front fender in case it falls off into the wheel when the kid's on it, so I'll pop that off. It might just be tape or glue or cable ties, but I'll just make that a bit more secure before popping it back on. And then I'll just pop the bodywork back on, top it up, put a bit more oil in, and I need to raise the revs a little bit. It cuts out because the revs aren't raised enough, but that should be fine. But yeah, it's getting there. Let me pop off that fender, see what I can do, or mudguard. So I'm just whacking in some of the last bolts. I de-stickered it a little bit. I just thought cleaner, simpler, because they were all kind of peeling off, so I think it looks better like that. I'm just going to keep putting on the last few bolts, and then I'm going to adjust the idle on the carb a little bit because it wasn't idling, was it? And then we should be good to go. So one last little bit, guys. These are cable operated disc brakes, like a pedal bike. Have some pliers ready in case the whole system wants to go the wrong way. Loosen the screw. As soon as you can pull through some of the wire, then do. Like that. There you go. And you should have it at a much better biting point, but it shouldn't be bit to start with. Excellent. And have a tiny bit of play up here in it. So I've done that kind of middle, so we can still play with it a little bit. We can come off or on if we need to. So that's good. So there you go. We've got a good solid front brake now. That's kind of it for now. I'm going to adjust the idle, see if I can get it idling on its own, and then I'll top up the tank, put a bit more two-stroke in, and it should be good to go. I should be able to send it back. Let's let the bike warm up and see if it'll move me. So it will move me. I'm just trying to get the idle right now. So that's it for my biggest project ever. It's idling fine, it sounds really loud, but it is a two-stroke. It's definitely spilling some fuel, so we'll need to put in some sort of inline cut off. It's a little bit smoky, but that's fine. And it moves and runs and rides and brakes. And it sounds like a two-stroke. It's obviously for children. It's not that fast, so it's safe enough, but the kids who are getting it, no names obviously, they will be safe. They will be careful. It's their parents you need to worry about. So yeah, and I've made it as safe as possible for them. At the moment, children are all over the place. They're much more scared than they make out. Being out of school like this isn't normal for them. They might appear to like it, but it will hit them at some point that it's not right, and it will be scary for them. So anything we can do to help, you know, a blitz up and down on your private garden or your private estate on one of these is absolutely fine in my opinion. And it's always up to the parents and carers anyway. So I've really enjoyed this one. I wish I had some sort of inline fuel filter somewhere. I might have one, I'll have a look, just to solve, so I don't mind it spilling a tiny bit of fuel while running, but you don't want it spilling out fuel overnight. That's the main thing. So I'll have a look if there's one there, but otherwise we're done on this one today. I need to get some basic shopping done, and I don't know, enjoy the rest of my Easter weekend. Any projects, even little ones like this, anyone's bored, if you're allowed out, and you know, we'll keep our distance here, there's no issues there. Definitely any key workers or NHS workers, if you need your bikes fixed or serviced, just get in contact. I'm in London, Islington. Normally I've got enough parts and tools here. I don't charge a penny. I've done 4 this week for people, and I've just used parts out of my parts bin, so everyone's been quite lucky this week.